Okay, welcome, penny stock billionaires, to the Thursday night, Thursday afternoon live chart chat. We're looking for those massive moon stocks with the moon rocket, volcano rocket potential. We'll be talking about some of the big winners today. That's CHWY, NIO, Tesla, AMC, PLTR. Who else do we got? We got ARK. Hang on a second. I just dropped. Where'd this thing go? Shit. All right, hang on one second. I'm sorry. I gotta find this thing that dropped. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. All right, I dropped a cigar here. All right. It's a casualty of this chart. Anyway, so before I get started, nothing here is a recommendation to buy or sell securities. Everything here is very high risk. You can lose all your money, so don't even look at these stocks unless you're a certified, billionaire, high net worth individual at least, and can afford to lose all or part of your money. If you want to go for the big wins like we've had, 10x, 20x, 50x winners, those involve risks. So, no crybabies here. All right, let's get started. We're going to do the overall picture of the market. Make sure you click the like, subscribe button. Let me go to the full page. Okay, actually, let me go to full page. You don't need to see me. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, so let me go to this chart. Okay, NASDAQ. What did I tell you a couple of, 10 days ago, roughly, the last two live streams ago? The markets have bottomed out. They've really, or at least it's a temporary bottom. This is what it looks like. We're above the 20-day moving average. This is the NASDAQ chart. We're still below the 50. MACD line's looking good. Right now, we have a 30% retracement from the top. This is where we're at. We're bouncing off a 30% retracement. Potentially, this could be a bottom. From this chart, it's 50-50. It could go either way. It could go either way based on this chart. But the underlying, some of the stocks we're going to be looking at, they definitely look like they've bottomed out. And we're starting to see some action. By the way, some of the penny stocks that we're going after, they're starting to run. Like Nextech was up 50% over the last couple of days. That stock is really exploding. There we go. Michael Mahendra, an official penny stock billionaire. We're very privileged, honored to have you here. Yet Nextech is halted. I can't tell you. There's news, pending news. That's all I can tell you. There's news. I wouldn't worry about it. I'll put it that way. There's news. Hopefully, the news will be out tomorrow or the next day. Stay tuned, as they say. Stay tuned. Tilray, yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I got to tell you, the Bitcoin has been strong. Again, I'm not a fan of the Bitcoin, but it's really amazing how it's held up. I'll actually pull up the Bitcoin chart in a bit. It's really amazing how well Bitcoin has held up during this whole downturn, which is why I think it's bullish for things. Again, when something is strong, when all the bad news is out, every piece of shit has been thrown at it, like all the mud has been thrown at it, and something is still strong. To me, that's an indication of a strong stock. Speaking of which, by the way, I'll give an example before we go into Palantir, NIO, and CHWY and all that. Origin Foods, great looking chart right now. Looks like we have a double bottom. It's bouncing off here. This company, the earnings were a little weak yesterday. Apparently, in theory, they were weak. We're going to probably do a live stream with Matt next week. He'll explain the details. The reality is, look, they have 4 stores. That's the main, the retail, the organic retail stores. And one of the stores was closed. It's a simple math. If you have 4 stores, one store is closed for renovations. That means your revenues are probably going to be off 20% plus, and hence what happened. Everybody's making a whole big deal out of, it's a scam, it's this. Listen, look at the market, look at the chart. With all this alleged bad news and everything else, the stock was only down a penny yesterday, a penny. And everybody was talking shit about this on the forums and everything. You got to realize, guys, here's the thing. The people on the forums, are mostly morons. Especially you got this, you got some idiot who's claiming to be a financial expert. This what is it, the Oakville Wolf or whatever? What is this guy, a bookkeeper? I mean, if you look at his background, he's a total loser. He doesn't understand anything about financials. So, and that's his big claim, that he's bagging on this stock. Other people are on top of it. It's really a joke. The market speaks for itself. If this news was so bad, why is the stock only down a penny? A penny. Imagine that. I mean, going back to Bitcoin, I hate Bitcoin, okay, but you have the charts of Bitcoin don't lie. I mean, if Bitcoin, I'll just pull up Bitcoin right now. Again, I really hate this whole thing, but it is, you can't deny what's going on. I mean, with all this bad stuff happening, it is not broken down below this really 30,000 level. I mean, it dropped a little bit below. It was like a little bit of a teaser. Now we're back above it. I mean, we're back above the 20-day moving average, still below the 50. The Bitcoin is actually very strong. Again, no matter, and again, I hate cryptocurrencies, but it's the reality. And I think that if we can get a little momentum with Bitcoin, we could see new highs. If it breaks out of this kind of 35,000 range above this 50 moving average, we could definitely see new highs in Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm waiting for that too. It's been very frustrating because, look, quite frankly, I was expecting the co-packer news, the 4 more stores to actually leases signed 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago. But, look, we're in penny stock land. Things sometimes get delayed, and that's why there's an opportunity. Listen, this is why there's an opportunity. You don't make 10x, 20x, 50 times your money like CBDT. You don't make 50 times your money in a perfect stock. I mean, you got to buy them when they're ugly. When it's perfect, it's fully priced, and then it can only go down. Fubo, oh, wow, interesting. Fubo, a former client, by the way, Fubo. Now, we actually had to sue Fubo. We had to settle, that, was pretty expensive for them. But I actually, it was a really screwed up story, actually. I actually like the CEO of the company. I think they kind of got into a screwed up situation, miscommunication, whatever. But I like the guy. I like what they're doing. I think this is going to do well. I really actually do wish them success because I think that these guys could do very well, especially from here. I'm looking at this chart. The more, I'm almost feeling like I should call these guys up and say, hey, let's do a 6-month program. I don't think they're going to be happy to hear from me. But listen, yeah, here's what's going on here. Fubo, former client. Again, I have no vested interest. It's above the 20-day moving average. I think this thing is going to pop. I think Fubo could really move. I think Fubo could go to. I think we can go back to $20. I think we'll go to $20 easily. And by the way, just for anybody knows, when it comes to Canadian stocks, the Canadian, because it's a nanny state in Canada, so we're really prohibited from really getting into details. I can't really tell you my personal opinion about where a stock can go. I mean, in theory I could, but there's a whole, we may have to get into some nasty litigation over there. But basically, for the moment, I have to play nice. For the moment, again, we've sued, New York Stock Exchange, multi-billion-dollar company, and took down a bunch of cash from those guys. So, we have very, very excellent legal team in New York, ready to sue in federal court any and all entities. Hint, hint, hint. Whoever may be watching this. So, anyway, Fubo, I think, is looking very good. Michael, I'm glad you mentioned that. I can't, obviously, give you advice. Might go to zero. To me, I think it's, with options, I got to tell you, the thing is with this stock, I it might take a while for it to move, and with these, if you get into options, you might. This is the thing I hate about options. So many times, like I'm right about the trend, the overall trend, but I miss it by expiration. I mean, I almost prefer to write options. I actually prefer to write options. Um, you know, I agree. I think that penny stocks have hit bottom. I think we're definitely at the bottom. I think a lot of these stocks have been de-risked. They're starting to move. Missed coming soon. Coming very soon. I'm glad you asked. It's coming very soon. And when it is, it could be a 10x, 100x win. Okay, let's go into some of the main stocks that people want to know about. Let's talk about CHWY. Okay, here again, you talk about double things at the bottom. The disruptive innovation stocks, those are the stocks that peaked last February. That included the Cathie Woods, the ARK stocks, disruptive innovation, and also a lot of the penny stocks. It's all the same shit, really. It's the same big group. There's really no difference between a CHWY that's, I don't know, $100 and like a Betts that was 30 cents. It's the same. It's the same speculative shit, right? That's really what it comes down to. Hopefully the companies work out. Some do, some don't. But look, nobody here is investing. We're in the business of speculation. So I don't care what these companies do. They make 5 billion, 10 billion. It doesn't matter. This is speculation. This thing is definitely, I mean, you look at this looks like we're at a double bottom. I mean, it basically, the chart tells you what it is. You got a double bottom between the March 2020 low and now, right? And we got a confirmation of a breakout. We're above the 20-day moving average on volume. So again, I don't know about this CHWY. I actually despise this company. I just, this whole thing with these stupid pet companies, like, people take these pets so seriously. I don't know. It's I find it kind of stupid in a way, but whatever. So these guys are gonna probably do quite well. Again, the stock is on the move. We could see easily a move back to 75, $100. It could easily happen. CHWY is in an uptrend. Let's take a look at NIO. It's another piece of shit stock that I actually don't like, but it's we're bouncing off the bottom. It's bullish. I hate this company. It's probably a fugazi scam, but the chart tells you what's going on. We got a you got to, it's kind of bouncing off this support line in the $13 range. I don't know if you can see it on the chart, but August 2020, that was the $13 level. We're bouncing off this level, and we're above the 20 and 50-day moving average. So this thing could fly. I mean, it really could fly. It's, again, it's highly speculative, and risk on. Maybe looks like the risk on is back on. Which, why am I talking about all these big cap stocks? Because it's going to be very bullish for a number of our micro cap stocks, which includes Nextech, NEXCF for the Americans, AIML, AIMLF, Nova Mentis, Pharma Drug, Origin Foods, a couple of others. Things are actually looking very, very good. This is look, I told you guys what would happen. It happened a little bit later. Yeah, the market crash, the big crash happened, 6 9 months after I said it would have happened, and it took longer to get out of it. But now it's happening. So let's take a look at another one, AMC. And then we're going to go into our penny stocks, which could be the real massive winners. This chart is actually not so hot. I would say it's really kind of a downtrend. It's got like a wet blanket over it. I'm only mentioning it because a lot of people follow it. You got a little bounce off this 20-day moving average. It's weak. It's not really good. I don't have any hope for it. These movie theater chains, I've talked about it before. Unfortunately, it's a dying business. Look, I love to read the newspaper. It's really great reading a newspaper. It's so much easier, like to read the Wall Street Journal or whatever it is. I don't remember the last time I was able to actually pick up a physical newspaper and read it. It's a dying industry. Magazines. I remember, I love the magazine business. I used to publish a magazine. Wall Street Report was a print magazine. Unfortunately, it's a dying business. Movie theaters, same thing. Movie theaters are going the way of newspapers. It is what it is. It is what it is. Palantir. A couple more stocks, and then we go into the big winners. And by the way, these things, FOMO, CHWY, yeah, big deal. So these things can double, triple. Who cares? I'm looking for 10x to 100x winners. I haven't had a 100-bagger yet. Well, in the pennies, in this thing I have. We actually did introduce a couple stocks that went up 100x on Wall Street Reporter, but not really. I mean, they were clients, but we weren't really doing massive promotion. So, like, for example, that guy, what's his name? Michael Saylor or MicroStrategy. Originally, that was a Wall Street Reporter client back in the day, and that stock ended up going 100x. It took him a couple of years, but it did become a 100-bagger. But we had nothing to do with that, by the way. Zero. I'm not taking any credit for that. So yeah, things are looking very, very good. Well Health. Yeah, we'll pull up that in a second. Yes, stocks are definitely looking cheap. And what's interesting is a lot of people right now are scared to buy, which to me is bullish. You have things really, really cheap, and people are scared to buy. Look, right now we're doing a live stream. I think there's only on YouTube. I think we only have 15 people watching. During the hot market, would have 200 people watching or 150 people during the live, and then 1,000 afterwards. Now the numbers are off by 50%. It's just the way it is. It's that way. That's the way it is. That to me is a sign of a market bottom. So Palantir is again. I don't have any personal interest in the company. This thing is kind of I'm mentioning because people like it, whatever. To me, it's kind of a weak. It does. You might have a little bit of a pop off this 20-day moving average. It might be good for a little day trade to maybe go to 15, but not that exciting. Let's go to Tesla. Stock we've talked about many times. Tesla, on the other hand, is actually looking super strong. What you have over here, right over here, in the last 2 weeks, it looks like a head and shoulders bottom, or V-shaped bottom, whatever you want to call it, V-shape, inverse, head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, okay? We're above the moving average. We're pivoting off this moving. The stock is using that green line, that's the 20, as a springboard. So it's bouncing off it. You're going to have some resistance in this kind of 900 range, which is where the 50-day moving average is. A little bit of resistance in the 900 area. If it breaks out of that, it could be game on to new highs. You got with this chart, you kind of got to have to play it day by day. It's a really scary stock to hold long term, to be honest. But in the short term, it's looking really good. The MACD lines are looking good. It's very constructive. What else do we have? We got to pull up. Okay, let's get to the main event. Enough of these bullshit large cap stocks. Let's go to the moonbagger, the moon rocket, volcano rocket stocks. By the way, when I say volcano rocket, I just want to be very, very clear. When I say volcano rocket, moon rocket, 100-bagger, million-bagger, whatever it is, it's a bit of a exaggeration, as everybody knows. It's for entertainment purposes, and it does not mean that literally the stock is going to literally solar system, the moon. I know we have a lot of retarded people who watch this. I just want to be very, very clear. That is not what this means. But hey, I can't lie. We have Wall Street Reporter, penny stock billionaire. Well, Wall Street Reporter really has the best track record in the microcap game, in the stock promotion game, if you will. legitimate stock promotion. We're only, we get involved with real companies. I don't think there's anybody who's had as many 10x, 50x, 20x winners, doubles, triples, 5xers. I mean, and the guys who claim the credit are people who've been piggybacking off our wins. Like, you got Greasy George at Agoracom, a bunch of other losers. That everybody's taking. What do they say? Success has 1,000 fathers, and failure is a bastard, right? CBDT, Greasy George, and everybody's taking credit for that stock going to 50x. But look what happens when a Wall Street reporter is not involved. You can see. I mean, you can look at again, I'm not trying to brag or whatever. I'm just trying to tell you the reality. We bring a lot of attention, a lot of U.S. heavy duty investor attention to stocks. Look what's going on. I just posted a thing on Twitter. Fans Unite, ESC Entertainment. You can look at the chart before and after. While the companies were with the Wall Street Reporter, volume was going up, especially in the U.S. Stock was going up. Without Wall Street Reporter, stock was going down. That's the common denominator. Meanwhile, you got, I don't know, Greasy George or some other lowlife. You got Pritt, whatever the guy is, Thesis Capital, another loser, parasite loser, who takes credit for work that we've done. What has he done for this Fans Unite? He's basically buried it into the ground. I mean, it's really sad. These guys have a very promising company, but they're very bad advice, very, very bad advice, and they need to fire these people. But anyway, let's get to some massive potential winners. Okay, Next Tech, as we know, this stock is halted. Pending news. Very interesting thing has been happening. If you've noticed, the volume has exploded the last, let's call it 2 weeks. And it broke above the 20-day moving average and got stopped short right at that 50. So I think somebody was shorting it right below that 50-day moving average line. Again, to me, this looks very similar to the CHWY stock. A couple of other charts. You got a huge double bottom from back in 2019 to now. Look at this chart. The chart tells you what's going on. Once this thing breaks above 50-day moving average, this thing could really, really fly. That's my opinion. Now, where can this thing go? Unfortunately, the Canadian regulations ban me from telling you my opinion, my true opinion of where I think this thing can go. But guys, as you know, the only time I bring a company on as a next super stock is if I believe that this could be a 10x to even 100x win. Okay, if I didn't believe a stock could be a 10x to 100x, I wouldn't be bringing them on. So where can it go? I can't tell you, unfortunately, because the Canadian regulations prohibit me from saying it, because they think you're a bunch of babies and they need to protect you. So that's where the world is evolving. Unfortunately, now I understand they want to ban guns or something. I mean, what a ridiculous thing. I mean, this goes to show you what kind of a nanny state it is. A tyranny, basically. I mean, the whole idea of gun ownership, the reason why they have, in the U.S. Constitution, the founders, George Washington, all those guys who are absolutely geniuses. The reason, they had the Second Amendment, the idea that citizens should own guns, is specifically, let me put it very clearly, is specifically so that the citizens can overthrow a tyrannical government. How? By killing the people, people in the government, whatever it is that to do, a revolution, a violent revolution to overthrow the government. And they need guns to do that. It's much more efficient than, swords and pitchforks, right? That's the way it is. And by the way, the Constitution does not limit, what kind of guns, a cannon, an AR-15, whatever, there's no limit. People should own guns so that they can overthrow the government. Like, for example, in the U.S. right now, it's getting to a point where, people might want to consider, doing that. In Canada, for sure, they should consider that. Anyway, I'm very pro guns. I own multiple guns, not enough, quite frankly. I only own pistols, and I don't own any assault rifles. I just haven't had a chance to buy one. Yeah, anyway, let's go back to Nextech. Yes, away from the political statement here. Yeah, so Nextech is very bullish. I think this could be a massive, 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 massive winner. We can see what the stock has done in the past. Look what happened. The chart doesn't lie. It tells you the past. The history tends to repeat with these stocks. It's like the same movie over and over. History. Things have been going on today. People do not change. People today, everybody thinks they're very sophisticated and all that. You're really not much more sophisticated than the people were 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years ago. Everybody's got the same problems, the same basic needs, the same basic motivations. Things have not changed at all. Human nature has not changed, and it will never change. And that's why the market will constantly do this thing. So, Nextech, you saw what happened. It went from 50 cents to $10 Canadian. Can it happen again? You tell me. I mean, I always say stocks can repeat past performance very easily because the path has already been paved, so to speak. So I am very constructive on the Nextech story, but I can't give you a price prediction because that would be prohibited by the Canadian regulations. So Novomentis, here's another stock which I think could be a massive winner. And amazing. I haven't updated this little pennant formation in quite a while, and the stock has been kind of coiling in this thing for a while. It really, to me, it looks like it really, really wants to break out, and it's pivoting off those 20 and 50-day moving averages. You got the Q resistance coming in here at around 9-10 cents, and I think once we break out of this 10-cent, 12-cent range, how high could the stock go? Again, the Canadian regulations prohibit me from saying so, but you can see some of the previous highs, right? Stock has been $1 or it's been $4 based on this chart. I mean, the chart tells you past history, right? Now, again, I can't tell you, but I only get involved with stocks if I think there could be a 10x to 100x. And in this case, personally, I'm invested in a big, big way in the private placement. And I wouldn't put, 6 figures into this stock unless I thought I could make 10 times my money, because it's just too risky otherwise. It doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, I'm looking, I put my money where my mouth is. So that is Novomentis. Let's take a look at AIMLF. Here's a really interesting stock. Really interesting stock. We got involved in it last year. It was probably a little bit early, but anyway, I think we introduced the company at 50 cents. And quite frankly, last year, this time December, the market was going in January. It was going crazy, and we probably shouldn't have even taken it on at that point because it was a little bit early. But the stock tripled right out of the gate. It went from 50 cents to $1.50 right after we introduced it. I'm sure people were front running it. It is what it is. But now it's amazing. The company actually has the goods. They got the fundamentals, and nobody's been watching it until the last couple of days. So look what's going on. The volume is taken off. The stock is, look at this. I'm going to zoom in. Should I do a candle to make it easy? I know. Okay. You can see what's going on. It's starting to move. I'm not a fan of the candle charts. It's bouncing off. It just broke out, clear breakout above the 20 and 50-day moving average. MACD line's looking good. Volume is looking good. The chart formation is it a double bottom? I don't know what it is. It's kind of could be, whatever. It definitely looks like it wants to go higher at this point. By the way, AIML, I'm also involved in that stock. I bought into the private placement. Was a couple months ago. I got, I think like 150 grand, I believe, Canadian tied up in that. Why would I do that? Because I believe it can be a TenBagger plus. Otherwise, I wouldn't invest that type of money and tie it up for, months, especially in a Canadian penny stock, So AIML, very bullish. We just began our U.S. marketing campaign, by the way. So this company is starting to get some good attention from U.S. investors. I'll pull up the U.S. chart just to give you an idea. Yeah, there you go. So, went a little bit crazy today. It got a little bit of ahead of its, it popped because it's very thinly traded. So you had this crazy gap up kind of. You can see the volume is coming in the U.S. So, everything is working. This chart looking very good. I think it's very constructive. And I think we could see a significant move higher. How much higher? I can't tell you because I am banned by the nanny state of Canada from telling you how I really feel about that stock. Again, next stock looking very good. What other stocks are we looking at right now? Origin Foods, OGGFF, OG in Canada. Yeah. So we're below the 20 and 50-day moving average. In theory, that's not bullish because we're below those numbers. It looks like the stock is going higher. Today was very constructive. And as I was saying earlier, it's had some really bad news thrown at it, bad sentiment. Everybody hates the stock all of a sudden. The company hasn't even put out too much news, but it's held on impressively well. And when something does that, when a stock holds on in the face of bad news, that's bullish. For example, we all know, when does the market bottom? A true sign of a market bottom is when you have really horrific news and stocks go up or don't go down. And even if they don't go down based on horrific news, that's a positive. And look, we've had a lot of bad news in the market. There's a bad sentiment. You got a war, you got inflation, you got an idiot in the White House, you got this school shooting that they had in Texas. You had a bunch of mass shootings in the U.S., which I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it affects people's minds. People don't want to hear about kids getting shot. It's when grown-ups, okay, whatever, but it really is very bad for investor sentiment. Nobody wants to hear about school shootings. It's people don't want to hear about that. It's very bad. And so the market has actually held up in the face of all this bad stuff. There's a lot of bad situations in the world happening. It could be even getting worse, but the market seems to be holding up. So to me, that is a positive. Look, you got to buy when the blood is running in the streets, right? Even if it's especially when it's your own. That was the actual correct saying. So I think we have covered pretty much everything in a matter of 33 minutes. What else? Did we miss anything? No, oh, there we go. Perfect timing. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, the key stocks to watch this week are going to be AIMLF, AIML in Canada, Nextech, NEXCF. Very interesting. Once the news comes out, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. So you got AIML, Origin Foods, Nextech, and Novamentis, NMLSF. Very, very good. I would also mention Pharma Drug, which we've been bullish on. It's taken a little while, though. I mean, I was really hoping for a little bit more of, the biotech news flow. We haven't had anything yet which could really move the stock. I was expecting it, but we haven't had it. So it is what it is. That's the world of biotech for you. But look, it's amazing when you see what's happening every day. Just punch up, pre-market movers, stocks up pre-market, and the biggest movers are these biotechs. So biotech stocks can move in any market. They're at a cyclical low. I think it's a very bullish situation. So Novamentus, Pharma Drug, definitely stocks to watch. So, okay, let me wrap up. I want to bring up the disclaimer again, just in case anybody's like slightly retarded. So I just want you to know that everything here should be considered paid content, even though this is opinion, it's not really paid content. And these stocks are very high risk. You shouldn't even look at them unless you're prepared for them to go to zero. Whether it's CHWY, whether it's Tesla, anything can go to zero, right? And we're not making any price projections for Canadian stocks. Just to be very, very clear about that. So we can't say any price projections. If I said anything, if I may have said anything by accident, I disregard it. It should be voided. Yeah. But again, look, I am very, very optimistic on the next 12 months. I think we got a couple of 10x plus winners in our universe right now. I'm quite confident. I think massive fortunes are going to be made over the next 6 to 12 months by those people who have the balls to get in right now into some of these stocks while things are looking very bleak. Just the way they did, March and April of 2020, things looked very bleak. Just as they looked bleak in, 2009, 2010, market looked very bleak. And you had massive unicorns emerge from the rubble. Look, I've been through many of these cycles, and I think this is going to be a massive cycle. I'm personally very optimistic on a couple of these big names, especially Novamentus and AIML. Look at this. $5 million market cap. All right, this company has a $5 million market cap. I highly recommend you watch the video. They were awarded a U.S. patent, which is a very broad patent. Now, there's a lot of nuances when it comes to patent, but the patent that they have addresses the health wearables market, which is $15 billion, according to, what's the name of the organization? Okay, so there's two numbers. One is 15 billion, another one is like 40 billion. I think the number is probably, the real number is probably 15 billion, or maybe a little bit less for health wearables. It could very well be, based on the information we saw in that patent, that AIML has a very broad position. What that means is you got a bunch of these companies that could be infringing on that patent. And they're supposed to pay 2% royalty, or they could be forced to pay 2% royalty of those gross sales to AIML. To further validate that, they just signed a deal. The company voluntarily contacted them out of the blue because they were doing a patent search, and they said, shit, we can't get this patent. These guys already have it. Let's license it. And they're paying them, it's kind of chump change. I think it's only a 6-figure deal in the short term, but that's one little startup company. One little startup. And again, I saw people are saying, oh, well, this patent litigation takes a long time. Yeah, it might take a little while, but it doesn't cost the company any money up front. You get a lawyer to do it on contingency. You give them 25-30%. And they go and collect the money. They spend the time, the resources. Just like with Fubo, I had a guy, a lawyer, did it on contingency, and I collected a nice paycheck, a very substantial paycheck, and I might be suing some very large organizations in the near future, which could be even a bigger, using the same guy, which could be even a bigger number. Maybe I should just take this public into an entity, because this could be a huge payout. We might be doing a lawsuit for like $25 to $50 million. So could be interesting. Maybe I should take Wall Street Reporter public with this lawsuit in there, and that'll be the potential blue sky. Anyway, but back to AIML. this thing is looking really bullish. The patent position is I think, very constructive. They could definitely get IP patent lawyers to get the patent enforced. It might take a little while. So okay, so they may not go get the full 15 billion. Let's say they only get 1 billion of the market, out of the total 50 billion wearables, according to Grandview Research. So look, do the math. 2% of 1 billion is $20 million. That's annual recurring revenue. 20 million. What's the value of that for a public company? That's, by the way, it's pure profit. What would you value a company like that? 100 million, 200 million? Because they also have their other businesses, right? They got their existing health monitoring business, all that other stuff. But it's pure math. If you have a $20 million stream of cash flow, you value based on net present value, over how long expectancy of the payouts, so it could be, I haven't done the math, but it could be a very substantial number, much higher than the current $5 million market cap. I mean, maybe a factor of 10x or 20x higher. It's just the math. It's not me making up a number, pulling a number out of my ass. Any moron can figure it out. Just look at the math, right? So that's it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. I'll see you on the next live stream.